Greetings, film fans, and welcome to episode 2 of the Big Reviewski. My name's Eoghan.
Justine.
Justine's just sitting there, like awkwardly beside me. How
You're
you
not
doing?
Ron.
No, sorry about that. So do you remember last week we were saying that this is going to be bigger and better than everything that's come before? It's actually bigger and better this week again because look over here. It's Paul Moore and Rory Cashin.
Back from the dead.
So Paul was starting vicious rumours last week that you had died. So it's great to see you.
It's
Based
really
on truth. Based on a bit of truth.
Part of him died.
I had passed away, but I watched the show from heaven,
Okay.
and I was like, I have to come back.
Fix it.
Back. My work here is not done.
Bruce Willis was a ghost the whole time. That's
whole
the twist,
time.
yeah. Rory's a ghost.
But you haven't come empty-handed. You've brought Joe cards. There it is. What do you think of the new red chairs?
I'm a big fan.
Big fan, which we only discovered. They moved last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could turn them into like romance couches.
Is that what they're called?
Valentine's special.
Romance couches.
I've been sleeping in these since last week since I realised that. They're really comfy, so...
There's a wee bit of a pong here in the studio. If you'd like to get in touch with us and tell us about how delighted you are that Rory is back from the dead to rescue everybody. Thanks, pal.
From yourself.
You can tweet us at Big Reviewski, or you can check out the Joe Instagram as well. And I know we'll talk to you there, probably.
Yeah.
Will we?
Loads of hashtags.
What's the phone number?
Loads of hashtags. Oh, we're grabbing the phone number.
You got it right last week.
I got it right last week, and someone was like, "That stupid phone number." They were like, "I couldn't remember any
There's
of the
a lot
numbers."
of numbers.
So it's not happening. We have a brilliant show for you this week. I say that every week, but it is true. This week we have James McAvoy, aka the King of Scotland, the Beast in brand new release Glass, and Professor Charles Xavier. So Paul had a chat with him.
Yeah, really nice fella. Yeah.
Super duper.
Didn't know which personality I was talking to because he's got like 24 of them. So,
well, he is.
I think it was James McAvoy. He could have been lying. He's good.
He's really good, really good. And also the Oscar nominations came out this week. So, kind of tied in with that, for this week's big question, it's over to Rory Cashin for this week's big question on the Big Reviewski.
It's kind of a two-parter.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh,
It's nice.
I know.
I know. We had
Isn't
that
that
same
good?
reaction as it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all proper and
Yeah.
stuff.
wow. Segues. Yeah, with the Oscar nominations
It's the
having
big question.
come out, the two-parter is, what do you think is going to win Best Picture? And what was the most painfully snubbed, I guess, non-nomination?
Well, what do you...
Non-nomination?
Nomination.
Yeah, I like
So what was nominated for Best Picture, first of all? What do we have?
Black Klansman,
my
Black
notes
Panther, Green Book, Star is Born, Bohemian Rhapsody, Vice,
Got them all.
Roma,
So far,
and what's the last one?
The favourite.
The Favourite, yes.
Yeah.
The Irish film, yes. Round of applause, Favourite, 10
Oh,
nominations.
amazing. Everyone
Yeah.
at Element Pictures.
And also Louise
Robbie
Badman
Ryan.
and Robbie Ryan as well. And Detainment as well was nominated for Best Short, wasn't it?
Yeah, so a brilliant showing for kind of Irish representatives this year. Well, what did you go for your nomination for Best Picture?
I think this is the worst collection of Best Picture nominees I've maybe ever seen.
Okay.
And that goes back to even the years when there was only 5. I think out of the 8 of them, I think only maybe 2 of them are really, really good. And out of all of them, I think it would either have to be A Star is Born or The Favourite. And I think A Star is Born might win it.
Okay.
Because it's just got it seems to be the only film where someone hasn't retroactively completely destroyed their careers. Or just people involved are like, do you remember? Remember what you said?
Do you remember that thing that you said that one time?
Now your film's ruined.
Your entire career is
Or in the case
destroyed.
of one specific director, everything you've ever done.
Everything.
Yeah.
So you're going for A Star is Born as your Best Picture pick.
Yes.
Okay, and then what about your snub?
My snub, I don't know if it's going to come up.
Oh,
We'll
is there a
see, will it?
surprise? Let's
We'll
see.
see.
If you think about it,
Drum
it
roll.
happens. Are you thinking? Concentrate really hard. And any second now. Oh,
Tony Collette.
Steve Buscemi.
Oh my God, I hope Tony Collette's watching.
Tony Collette, if you're watching, I think you're wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tony Collette, Best Actress for Hereditary. But there's so much about Hereditary could have gone up for Best Picture. It could have gone up for Best Screenplay. It could have gone up for Best Director, Best Supporting Actor for
He shot beautifully as well.
Max Wolf. Yeah, the
Cinematography was great.
production design. There's so much about it, and it's just completely ignored.
Okay.
But if you were to single it down to one, she gave not just one of the best performances of last year, but one of the best performances of any horror film ever. But unless it's like a topical horror, like Get Out, then the Oscars just have no time for it.
Well, Justine, what did you go for your best picture pick?
Well, I'm sticking with Rory.
Rory's your best picture pick. Happy days.
You deserve the Oscar, Rory.
His life is interesting. That biopic was.
He came back from
you've
the
lived.
dead.
I know that's true.
Yeah, you've seen some stuff. He's back from the dead and everything. Yeah.
For Best Picture, I have gone for A Star Is Born.
Okay.
Because it's just got everything. You know, it has. I think it deserves to win Best Song as well, just because Sweet Jesus, that song. Every time I hear it, I'm taken back to that film and the emotions.
I assume you're talking about the Ass in Those Jeans song.
Of course.
Okay.
Good God, and she has
That's
the
the real
chain.
title.
Oh my God, I want that outfit.
I really wanted Elevate from Into the Spider-Verse to be nominated for Best Song. The one at the end. It was mega.
Yeah.
And no one really liked it. I thought it was class. But sorry, just saying.
I got a record player for Christmas, and I got that record, and I just wanted to tell people I have a record player. That's pretty much it. But
you're pretty cool.
I am. But every track, I actually think is fantastic. That whole sound, like soundtrack, is fantastic.
Banger.
Yeah, "Digging My Grave" is a great tune, but ties into you. You could have been digging your grave.
Sorry.
I have to say, my Rory actually is alive. Like he's here.
I just
not a
think
ghost.
Lady Gaga once was involved. I adore her, so it was brilliant. But
was
the
great, yeah.
biggest snub for me at the Oscars, I actually think.
Is it gonna appear on the TV as well?
Funnily
Oh no,
enough,
that is it. That is the picture. That is the picture.
Great job. Because the biggest snub, I think, was for Bradley Cooper not being nominated for Best Director.
Yeah.
Honestly, as a debut, I think it was fantastic. I actually think he was better in directing this film than acting. I think he's I would prefer to have seen him nominated for Best Director than Best Actor.
I agree.
Yeah.
For Best Supporting Actor, Sam Elliott in that film.
He's
Good God, that
incredible.
one scene,
No.
Oh, the scene when they confront each other, it's just like, oh God.
Good God.
But as well, it was such a personal story to Cooper. He mined his own life and sort of the worst moments of his personal life to put on screen. And if any director can coax 2 Oscar-nominated performances, song, and I think was it
There's
adapted?
8. There's 8 nominations totally for it. Yeah.
You're right. It was a case of Ben Affleck Argo. I thought about it
Same.
completely, just ignoring him.
Well, what are you going for your best picture then?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Best Picture. I'm going to go left to centre. I think, after we touched on it, the revelations of Bryan Singer, I think Bohemian Rhapsody, as much as I didn't like it to begin with, but the Golden Globes win obviously showed that people did really like it. So what do I know?
You know loads.
But I think the momentum now could be a bit hurt by this, which is a bit of a shame to the people that worked on it. And I do think Rami Malek will win Best Actor, but that could be the only big one they get. I'm going to go Roma to win, because I think the vote could be split between that and A Star Is Born. And the fact that Cooper wasn't nominated, usually picture and director usually go hand in hand, not all the time, but it's usually a good sign. And the Academy really love Cuarón, they really do. And Roma surprised me in terms of the actress nods as well, a bit left to centre. And I haven't heard a person say a bad thing about Roma. Cuarón's got previously won for Birdman, and he won for Gravity. And it's an excellent film. And I have a feeling that if the vote does get split, and that I would have thought Bohemian Rhapsody was the leader to start, now it's going to take a bit of hit back. I don't think A Star Is Born is as cut and dry as people think, and I think Roma might just sneak up, and it'll be very, very tight. But if it does win, I think it would be deserving, because I thought it was excellent as well.
And then what about Snub?
Snub for me was from my cinematic experience of last year.
The anticipation?
Oh,
Man.
Any second.
Technology is catching up.
Oh,
A Quiet Place.
Lady
Which
in the
was
Bath.
snubbed by the Golden Globes and the Oscars. You don't know me and Rory, big horror aficionados, but it wasn't even just a really good horror film. It's just a good film, period. And people are always saying that you want to see originality or something different, a reason to go to the cinema. This was I would equate this as Jurassic Park or Avatar, a real cinematic experience that you don't forget. Even if you didn't particularly like the film, there was something about it that really stays with you, but it's a good thing that people did like it. I mean, I had a look, it's 88% on Metacritic. That's much more than Bohemian Rhapsody. I haven't seen Vice yet, but I can guarantee you A Quiet Place is a better film than Vice. Made loads of money around the world. So I don't know if it's just a case of people snubbing stuff because it's popular, but then you can make the case Black Panther was
because it's
acknowledged,
hard.
you know, yeah. But
There's
Get
no
Out,
time for it.
but I thought last year,
Hereditary and
but I
A Quiet
thought last
Place
year
were
with Get Out,
best.
it might have just kicked off.
The social.
Yeah, but it's just an incredibly good film.
Yeah.
And again, you mentioned Bradley Cooper, kind of raw directing talent. Krasinski was excellent. I didn't think he was going to get a directing nod, but I just thought as an experience and as a whole coherent film, it's original, and people loved it as well. Critics loved it, people loved it, but voters didn't, which I found weird.
It was nominated for best sound editing.
Yeah, well, the sound in it is pretty amazing, all right. I still remember.
He had no job.
Yeah, I still remember going to see it, and after one of the big scares in it, somebody knocked over. Like, cinema was absolutely packed. Omniplex cinema. And
Nice.
somebody
He's
so
gotten real
smooth.
good at that.
Very simple.
Somebody knocked. I should just stop highlighting it. Somebody knocked over one of those tin water canisters, and everyone jumped, and everyone jumped and then the whole cinema just broke out into nervous laughter for ages. And then everyone just settled back into have the shit scared out of them again.
And
But,
also, they deserve it now because they had to show up to work and work together, then go home and live together,
And
like,
live together
for 9
as well.
months together. What the hell did they
Yeah,
talk about?
yeah.
You know, but they
Um,
were really good, and they seemed like lovely people when Rory interviewed them as well. It's
Yeah,
really
no, they're super, the pair of them. I'm kind of going predictable as well. It's out of the ones that I've seen for Best Picture so far, because they haven't all been released here yet. I'm going Star is Born as well. I just loved the film. Head along to see it on my own. Hi everybody, and I was just bawling my eyes.
That's
The
what I
whole
always
thing.
do it on my own.
Before the trailers started, just crying for ages.
I'm so alone.
I'm so alone. But no, I just loved it. But in terms of a snub, I went for just a film that actually came out towards the end of 2017, but was still qualified for this year's Oscars, which was the most.
I like the anticipation.
I know.
Kind of builds up.
The most heartwarming,
my
cuddly. That looks like this is a buddy cop duo starring Brendan Gleeson and Paddington Bear. No, it was
Who's the
Paddington 2.
hairier one there in that
which,
picture?
I think actually Brendan Gleeson might be hairier there.
Yeah.
This is.
Don't have a beard to get marmalade lost in.
I know.
He's like Mr. Twit then.
Yeah. Out of the films that we saw in 2018, you're right. A Quiet Place, I think, is definitely one of my favourite there, and A Star Is Born. But in terms of one that qualified here for these Oscars, Paddington 2 was just one of the most happy, lovely, furry, warm cinema-going experiences ever. I just remember just being so happy coming out of it.
So you think you should have gone for best picture?
I think so, yeah. Sure, why not? Paddington for Best Actor. And Knuckles McGinty, Brendan Gleeson for Best Supporting Actor.
I will definitely agree with on is that Hugh Grant should be up for best supporting
Oh,
actor.
he was phenomenal in that. Forget James McAvoy playing 24 characters. Hugh Grant playing 6 characters in that film was unreal.
Fantastic.
Paddington Bear should host the Oscars this year.
Oh, that'd be phenomenal.
I don't want Paddington ruined. They're going to dig up some dirt on him. It'd be like
Well,
when he's in
Explain
Peru.
your old tweets.
Yeah, do you remember that Paddington? what
Paddington
you
in
said?
Peru on slaves or something. It'd be awful.
That would be
but ruin
really,
Paddington.
really terrible.
That's a meme there now.
Saddington.
If you want to let us know what you thought, or what your favourite pictures are for Best Picture at this year's Oscars, which I think are 24th of February, so coming up really soon, or what you think was snubbed as well. Saddington, I'm going to stay with that. Is that okay? Saddington
I
Bear.
had Bradley Cooper this week.
Bradley
I
Cooper was
made-
good as
Should have
well.
been Hunter Killer, Jared Butler.
That also would have been phenomenal. But we'll have an Oscar special closer to the ceremony itself. I just made that up, but we have an Oscar special.
Yeah, why not?
do it.
Yeah,
Do it
okay.
from LA.
Yeah, we're going to LA.
We have to suit up.
Bring the chairs.
Suiting up.
We get these on the plane.
Each week, I think we'll be fine getting these on. Each week, we're also taking a look at our favourite trailer from the past week. And I know, Paul, you picked out The Hole in the Ground from last week,
Yeah,
brand new
excellent
Irish
film.
horror film, which looks superb. Shortly after the show came out last week, the internet broke. Well, it did in Paul's house anyway, whenever the trailer for John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, was released. And so we just have to go with you again.
Speaking of
for this.
Oscars, right? Do you want to know what's going to win everything next year?
Is it-
Paddington. No. Yeah, and I learned what Parabellum means. Remember we had last week?
Okay.
So I don't know, my Latin's a bit rusty. So
So I Googled it.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Si vis pacem Parabellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. And on that note, you can see John Wick there with his lovely dog coming into shot. The trailer was released last week. We had the motion poster. But yeah, it actually is a brilliant trailer because you don't get an awful lot from it. We knew exactly what the plot is. He has to get out of New York. There's the 14 million quid bounty on his head. And this is just nuts. You see it here. Guns, dogs, ninjas, guns, swords,
The dogs are
Keanu,
like
suits.
amazing.
Yeah.
Horse dogs. People
Halle
just love
Berry's got
animals.
2 dogs and they attack.
Yeah.
The dogs are even attacking people.
We've got a little clip of the brand new trailers. It's John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum.
Do you expect him to make it out? A $14 million bounty on his head. And everyone in the city wants a piece of it. I say the odds are about even. Doc, 5 seconds.
John Wick, excommunicado in effect in 3,
2.
1.
And away we go.
And away we go. Ian McShane, obviously incredible. Was he in the first one, actually?
He was. He's Winston. Jonathan.
Oh, sure, he meets him down in the Continental. That's right.
Jonathan.
And Braun from Game of
Yeah,
Thrones
where did that
is in
come
there.
from? That was great. That was one of my holy crap, it's Braun. Yeah, wasn't expecting that.
Berry.
And
Yeah.
Halle Berry as well. And her
52.
tag dogs.
There's
52 years old, and he's 54.
what?
It's a film about vampires.
Quintagenarians. Is that what they're called?
Close enough.
Vampires.
It's a fair, I'll guess. Like,
As Rory pointed out, like during the trailer, you can actually see it says that line on it. Mm-hmm. If
prepare for peace, war.
If you want peace, prepare for war. Isn't that
you
it?
should work in film taglines.
Would you like a piece of war?
So John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum was your pick for the film of 2019.
Yeah.
Are you more excited now, having seen the trailer?
I think that probably has 10 million YouTube views, and I'm probably responsible for 9.5 million of them. Even the poster was deadly. I don't need a plot. It's just him against the world. Bring it on. I don't need logic.
I feel like you can relate to John Wick.
I don't need any logic for this. It's going to be great. That's all I need to know.
The thing that scares me, okay, there's a dog in the trailer, and I'm thinking back to the first film when that puppy gets killed. I can't take another dog death, so I'm just hoping.
But you
that
can
there's
take
no
millions
dog
of
death in
people
this.
been killed.
There's a
Loads of
difference.
anonymous bad guys.
There's
Yeah.
a website you can go to called doesthedogdie.com, and you can Google any film in it, and it'll tell you if the dog in the film dies or not. I have to do that too
before
often.
going to see it. So, okay, we'll see if John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum is updated before you go and see
Yeah.
it.
I do promise I won't spend every show talking about John Wick. If I
I
could,
know,
I
I
would,
know.
but I don't
Yeah.
think I'm allowed. But happy coincidence
well-
and counting the days.
Moving swiftly onwards, there's a brand new film out in Irish cinemas at the minute, Glass. I know, Paul, you're a fan of it.
I was, yeah. People did not like it, and I seem like I'm
I
the
can
only
see
one.
Rory's
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
People are
back.
here. What did you think, people? No. So just not for you.
It just was. Oh, no.
No.
Like, I was just like, where's your money?
Well, he
There's
didn't
no-
have any.
But, then don't make that film. Like, it's.
Yeah, the Myers
He's made
It's
it
not-
back. It's done. I think it did 70 million.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
on
like,
a weekend.
I've no doubt that,
Yeah.
it'll make money. But, why, if you know you don't have the budget, don't make a film where for the entire runtime you're like, oh, there's going to be a big fight at the
Are
end.
you hoping for the tower bit?
They set it up, so it's like, there's a big scrap up
that's
and that,
it.
we're going to blow it up, and then it was like, I can't even talk about how it
No, don't give it away.
The way it actually
Definitely don't
ends,
give
I
away
was
the
like,
ending.
what?
Do you know who can talk about the film?
Yeah, Mr. James
Segue.
McAvoy. Nice. Well, we can all agree that
He's
James
the best
McAvoy
thing,
is,
yeah.
Yeah.
it seems that everyone is universally agreeing that James McAvoy is the best thing about the film. And Paul, after catching up with Samuel L. Jackson, also got to talk with James McAvoy. And I think this is one of my favourite starts to an interview ever because, one, you insult him.
Yeah.
So you call him a bad word, and then you just start talking dirty to him. So this is Paul's chat with James McAvoy.
James, after Split, you made me terrified of paprika.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and as an Irishman, you now made me terrified of Mary, which is a massive problem for
Of
my
Mary?
daily life. Yeah. So you're a bit of a bastard.
Mary and paprika, two things that you'll never enjoy again.
Expert use of the accent, by the way,
Thank you, cheers.
and the word lad.
Did I say lads?
You did, yeah. Get his lad out. I think you did. I think that was the line.
I can't remember.
I'm
I can't remember what I said.
Guarantee I'm going to be the only person to ask you that question. for
Ah,
all day,
nice,
yeah.
nice. No, when I saw the name Mary Reynolds, I was like, oh, I don't know why that sounds Irish. Well, Mary sounds Irish, but Reynolds, I don't know why that sounded Irish. Is it an Irish name, Reynolds?
Yeah, there's a.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was like, they're going to be Irish. They'll be Irish twins.
And the twin, were you channeling a bit of your good buddy Michael Fassbender to take the piss
Do you
out
know
of him?
what? I can't remember what the guy sounded like. I remember what Mary sounded like, but I can't remember what the guy sounded, what his voice was like. I know Mary was really kind of like, she was sort of there, you know, but I can't remember what he was like.
If Fassbender doesn't like it, you'll hear from, like, don't take my word, I'm sure he'll be on.
Michael's got a real hard accent.
It's Kerry, it's a different level
it's
of
Kerry, but it's also, he's so unique a guy, his voice is so like interesting.
Paul Moore there calling James McAvoy a bastard and talking about getting his lad out.
Talking
So,
about dicks,
good work.
pretty much
As you
straight
do.
in.
Yeah, straight in.
And that is why I will never talk to James McAvoy
ever again. Cross off the list.
He was lovely. Really nice fella. Yeah.
So it's come out since you did that interview, because whenever he was doing the Irish accent and pretending to be Mary, that he actually based it on Saoirse Ronan as well.
Yeah, because they would have worked together on Atonement when she was probably 12 or 13. I think it was like their first Oscar nom anyway. She's doing stuff like that before. But yeah, now it's kind of like, going to re-look at that scene and like, okay.
Whenever you actually watch back the interview and you hear him say, or like whenever he's now said it's Saoirse Ronan, you can actually hear her voice whenever he's talking as well.
That's creepy.
It's a little bit creepy.
I don't care.
Go back and watch it though. Of course, you're also chatting about he plays how many different characters in this?
Jeez, I lost count. There's a scene in particular, it's great. It's the best scene in the film. He plays about 6 characters and they just switch on literally on the flick of a light. So he's like, I think he goes from like Patricia to Hedwig to Dennis to Mary to Mary's Irish twin she has as well. So he plays about 6 characters in the space of like a minute. But I think in this one it must be about 18 maybe. And then you've got the ones from Split before, but there's supposed to be 24 in total anyway.
So you were chatting to him about like, just does it wreck your head having to jump from one character?
He gets 24 paychecks as well. Like.
yeah, that'd be nice.
The interesting thing, or the slightly fortuitous thing for me in playing somebody with DID, I'm playing a group of people who all live with DID, is that they've all got a sort of prime characteristic. You know, there was a very specific reason why at a time where, say, Kevin was having a crisis of faith, instead of him having to actually deal with that, he dissociated, and the character that was born and personified was Patricia, and she became sort of his carrier of faith, you know. And while she has many other strings to her bow, and there's a real sexual kind of life that she has as well, there's her main characteristic is to believe, is to take care of that need that we all have to believe in something, you know what I mean? And so when you're flipping between all the characters, they've all got their prime mover, their prime characteristic, if you like, and so you key into that as quickly as you can, and that gives you everything else. So even when they're not taking care of that thing, even if their objective in that moment isn't to take care of that thing that they were born for, it gives you everything you need to sort of spread out and play them hopefully in a filled way, you know.
You can check out Paul's full interview with James McAvoy up on the JOE YouTube channel, and you can check out Glass. It's out in cinemas now, and it's #1 in the box office. I think it's just kicking Glass.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, it was good.
Do you?
Yeah.
Rory, what are you don't take notes?
No.
What are you writing?
You're on the
What are you
list.
writing? Oh no. Are you writing really good? Really
In
good
fairness,
joke?
we made it this far into the show. Like, you were doing well.
I know.
So, like, yeah.
It's still Saddington's still Saddington's still the best. What did you write for Saddington?
Just a tick.
Just a tick and a no. Damn it. Lots of new releases out in the cinema this week, and the first one that, especially after the Oscar nominations, loads of people are very excited about seeing. It is Vice, which is in cinemas from Friday the 24th of February. No, what month are we in?
January.
We're January. We're still January.
It's still going.
Sweet, and it's
Feels like the
Friday the
longest
25th.
month.
Maybe we get the
Just
months on
Vice
the
is
screen.
coming out. Let's take a look at the film, will we? I need
Go
to
to the
sleep.
cinema, and if
I need
it's
to sleep.
there,
If it's there, you can watch
there.
it.
I want you to be my VP. I want you. You're my vice.
Well, George, I'm the CEO of a large company. And I have been Secretary of Defense. And I have been White House Chief of Staff. The Vice Presidency is a mostly symbolic job. However, if we came to a different understanding, I can handle the more mundane jobs, overseeing bureaucracy, military, energy, and foreign policy.
Yeah, right. I like that.
Yeah, so we've worked out Vice will be in cinemas. That's pretty much what we're sticking with.
Which cinema?
Which Omniplex.
Yay!
So there you go,
Plug
sorted.
two.
Rory, you've had a chance to see it. What did you think?
It's not great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not great. Disappointed because Adam McKay's last one. I didn't make the fucking thing. Adam McKay's last one, The Big Short, was a very clever takedown of a story that everyone kind of knew but didn't know all that well. So him following that with another story that everyone kind of knew but didn't know all that well was a clever one. And he has a fantastic cast, and everyone in it.
It's an unbelievable cast.
Yeah, everyone in it is really, really good. It's just that the story itself that they decided to tell and the way that they tell it is just not that interesting. Yeah, like it's a lot of like so many opportunities where you could see had he just came at it with the same level of original intelligence that he had with The Big Short instead of this. And there's a few times as well where he gets a bit too smart for his own good. Yeah, it was disappointing.
What about, because obviously everyone's talking about the performances in it and the amazing cast, and it's another case of like, Christian Bale is unrecognisable and he's committed so much.
He says he's never doing this again. He said this is the last time he's changing his weight for a movie.
It's crazy though,
it's
how
a lot.
much, in particular Christian, just can segue between them.
Yeah, and with the makeup and the ball cap and stuff, like he's like if he walked past me in the street, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's probably Christian Bale.
Anybody walking the street, yeah, you could be Christian Bale. You could be Christian Bale.
But even when he speaks, people still don't know that he's British. That was the thing at the Golden Globes. Like, that's the easiest thing to recognise. You know,
every time he opens his mouth, he's like, "All right, geezer." Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah. Oh well, that's massively disappointing because, as you said, there was something very original about The Big Short and how it helped explain, something that a lot of people were familiar with, but maybe didn't have their head around in the right kind of way. And it just had all those little moments in the middle of it, but this doesn't have the same kind of setup or storytelling. No,
the little moments, like remember when he ingeniously got Margot Robbie to explain something
I think that was
very complicated.
Yes.
There's a similar, not similar, but there's another tactic that he tries in this, and you can absolutely see what he was going for. But one, it runs on for too long, and two, it just comes off as a bit smug.
Right.
And it just. Yeah, they're good. Like I said, like everyone in it is really good. Like, but there's just nothing. There's nothing interesting about it. Like it's just. I feel Amy Adams is basically playing the same character she played in The Master, where it was kind of a Lady Macbeth type thing, and that. And then the reasoning for Dick Cheney's rise to power seems to be solely to impress his wife that is out of his league, and that is. I don't know if that's true or not, because I don't know Dick Cheney all that well. But if it is true, it's a very lazy way of telling a very important story. Pin it entirely on him wanting to oppress his wife.
Yeah, I think everything about US politics is just batshit crazy anyway. So I think worth going to see for that. And Sam Rockwell, anything that he's in as well,
he's phenomenal.
Yeah,
really good.
Super. So he's playing George W, isn't he?
He is.
How's the accent? Better than what
great.
I just did.
He's great. Like I said, I can't fault.
It's Rockwell. He did. Did he? Best supporting actor.
I think he is nominated.
Him, Amy
as well.
Adams, and Bale. I think all got nods. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like it's an actor's film, but it's not a viewer's film. I think like other actors would be like, "Oh man, that's great." Good for you.
Good work.
You acted real good there.
So Vice is out in cinemas soon, and we also have a brand new film from Clint Eastwood. So I think this is.
I have one particular question.
One question. So
about this film.
You might as well name the film first.
I know. I'm going to say. So we're going to get a wee clip from The Mule, which is officially Clint Eastwood's 987th film.
And when the clip is done, I immediately.
One question. Wait your turn. Wait your turn. Here's a clip from The Mule.
Holy.
Need help, sir?
Oh, officer, hi.
You need help?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
What do you got there?
Pecans. I'm delivering pecans to my niece.
Pecans?
Yeah, pecans. She makes the worst pecan pie you've ever tasted. I feel sorry for her husband, but And I feel sorry for the pecans too.
So Clint Eastwood's brand new film. We know, Rory, you have a question about the mule, but Justine...
I have a question.
Justine is jumping in with
I feel like I'm in a
question.
sandbag here. Set up. Yeah.
We've all got questions.
I pulled
You
the
can wait,
ticket.
Rory. You can wait. There's more. In the tray there, does the dog die?
That's all
all I
Justine
need to
needs to know.
Go on the website you mentioned about 15
Does the
minutes
dog
ago.
die? What is it? .com?
Doesthedogdie.com.
Okay.
Check it out. It's
God. As soon as it started barking, you're like, the panic sets in.
Yeah, but it even tells you if a dog just gets injured but doesn't die. It
Right,
goes that
okay.
far as well,
Wow.
so you can. It's great.
Layers.
It's a niche.
Great.
Okay, great question. Can Rory's question live up to that question?
Rory, you can
unless I
go.
have the answer on my cards, you can't look.
Tell me this.
Go for it.
Clint Eastwood is
88.
1,000 years old.
I would say older.
He wrote
I
and
thought
he
he was
wrote
older.
and directed this film. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it true that he wrote himself 2 3-way scenes in this film?
Yes.
1,000-year-old Clint Eastwood.
I have
has
more questions.
He's getting more.
2 3-ways in a what I understand is a short enough film.
It's about 100 minutes, yeah.
Can
I don't
we-
have to review this now.
No,
That
that's it.
literally sells
So
the film.
88-year-old Clint Eastwood has 2 3-ways in the film. The dog may or may not die. Is the dog involved in any of those? Well, like, can we first of all, what's the mule actually about?
Clint Eastwood having 3 ways.
Okay.
No, he's. It's almost like a spiritual sequel to Gran Torino, but it's not as edgy or it's not as in your face as Gran Torino was.
My pecans.
Yeah, exactly. But there are those kind of comedy moments when he plays kind of the old man who's kind of out of touch with modern society. He's just like, oh, that's just the way he is, and he play it for jokes, but they're not as un-PC as, let's say, Gran Torino was. Essentially, he plays a gardener who's kind of coming to his end, and he's had a really bad relationship with his family. He's a bit of a dick. He wasn't there for his own daughters, but for some reason, his granddaughter remained close to him. She's about to get married and needs money. He's Clint Eastwood's a bit of a bum, but after going to a reception for her, he comes across these fairly shady-looking people who say, he likes to drive for a living because he was a florist. He went around all these shows, and like, how about you get paid for just driving? And ultimately, the shady look people are drug dealers, and it is very funny just seeing like an old man around these like Mexican tattooed, like absolute monsters with guns and stuff, and just how he just like very unconventional in terms of that. In terms of the plot, there's not an awful lot to it. It's those scenes that are very
There's
funny.
A lot of 3-ways to
it. But they do kind of bring a sentimental angle in terms of like, I get the message that like he only has a few years left in his life and he's like, doesn't give a shit and I'm going to do what I want, but I also want to get closer to my family. It's the bit when they kind of shoehorn in the bit of the sentimentality that kind of lost me for a bit. I was very much there for like this weird ass road trip with Clint Eastwood, smuggling drugs, getting paid, completely oblivious over his head to what's going on, and with the aforementioned 3-ways. Yeah, exactly. And in terms of the script, Bradley Cooper also and Michael Pena are DEA agents.
Michael Pena's in it as well.
You can see Cooper like worships the ground Eastwood works on because they would have worked together in American Sniper. And Cooper, I can kind of see in like A Star Is Born, he's taken some lessons from Clint.
Well, that was meant to be Eastwood's film.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, he was originally lined up to direct it with Beyonce in the Lady Gaga role.
Or that Beyonce in the Bradley Cooper role, which also would have worked amazingly well.
Of course.
If it would have been ruined, it would have been a threesomes every 15 minutes. This is so sad.
But there's a great scene with Cooper and Eastwood when they meet, and they kind of those scenes really do sparkle. But as I said, it's let down by kind of the over sentimental stuff. But when Clint is allowed to be just a bit of an old codger who just doesn't give a fuck about what's going on in the world, it's pretty funny. But it's a film your dad would love. And I'm not saying that because all dads love Clint Eastwood. My dad loves Clint Eastwood. Yeah. But in terms of the plot, there's not an awful lot else to say. Apparently it's a true story, but there's not a whole load of, maybe apart from the threesomes, I'd imagine. But there's not an awful lot that'll keep you there.
They're like, Clint, did this happen? This is part of the story.
Not only did it happen,
This
it
needs to stay. It happened twice.
Can we film
need
this 50 times to get the right take?
Listen.
But as an actor, he's Clint Eastwood. There's no scene that's spare. Like even when he was in the height of his fame, if there was 10 lines of dialogue, he stripped them back to 5. That's just the way he operates. It is good to look at. The performances are good, but it's just it's just a very easy film to watch. but it probably won't stay with you. It's not going to change your life. But yeah, if you kind of like the Gran Torino vibe, yeah, this would be something for you.
Excellent. So all our dads are going to see the Mule then, definitely.
And then they're going to probably want to do stuff. No.
Don't you speak for my daddy. No. Another big release that's out this week is J-Lo's brand new film, Jennifer Lopez. Got there. I was about to say Jennifer Lawrence.
Her new film is not called Jennifer Lopez.
Her new film is called
Here's J-Lo's new film, Jennifer Lopez.
Played by Beyonce.
Yeah, exactly. But no, this is second act, and let's take a little look at the film before we hear the review.
Your resume interests me. Wharton Business School.
I'm sorry, what?
And of course, you have got to see her Facebook page.
My Facebook page? Obama?
I gave you a completely new identity. You said you wanted to be fancy, so I just like Cinderellaed your ass.
Well, I got you in the door. But you got the job, baby. Who's the champ? Let's go. Who's the champ?
I'm the champ?
You're the champ. Yeah, come on.
It's not easy getting a job for a woman your age.
Watch me.
I'ma be your hero, trying to save the day.
Okay.
So we cleared that up anyway. Jennifer Lopez, not in a film called Jennifer Lopez, but called, oh, look, second act. There you go, nice timing.
Eventually, I assume she will be in a film called Jennifer Lopez.
Probably. I cannot remember. Was she a singer or an actor first?
She started her career as a backup dancer for Janet Jackson.
That is specific knowledge.
She was from the block, yeah? She was living on the block.
Yeah, and she was on the Six.
I remember in Money Train. Do you remember Money Train? Woody Harrelson. I remember. And Anaconda she was in, wasn't she?
She's another example of someone who doesn't seem to age in a normal pattern. She aged to about 30 and she's just been there, and I don't know what age she is now.
Out of Sight, still her greatest film.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
that and Anaconda.
Unless second act has pipped Anaconda and Out of Sight to the #1 J-Lo film.
Guess what?
What?
It has.
It has. Woo!
We can all go home. No.
Oh, okay.
Come December, if this isn't on my worst of the films list, I'll be shocked.
Is that the name of it? Worst of the years?
It's not a
the
catchy
films
title,
of the list?
but it is what I've called it. Oh boy. You've seen the trailer, or the bit of the trailer.
Yeah.
It's a comedy with the rabbit ears, but watching it as a film, it's not clear that it's a comedy. It's trying to be Working Girl. Do you remember that 80s?
Yeah. Working Girl is amazing.
Great,
Yes.
That's why I wear loads of hairspray.
Sigourney Weaver.
Weaver.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
It's trying to be Working Girl, but it's not as smart or as funny. And oddly enough, even though it's set 30 years later, the sexual politics seem to be older.
Right, okay. Did Clint Eastwood write it?
Oh, no.
You like that one?
Yeah. I go up to the three-way.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's not funny, it's not interesting. I brought a friend and...
they're no longer your friend now.
She fell asleep. It was not, like, Vanessa Hudgens is in it. She's not a great actress. J-Lo, I'm sure can be.
Sorry, there was a shot of a dog. Justine, over the dog.
Any questions, Justine?
She can't take it.
I can't confirm yet. I need to get
the dog makes it.
The dog makes it.
The dog makes it, so it's fine.
God.
Okay.
Good.
But yeah, it's a dull, boring, super predictable, just poorly made piece of trash.
Okay.
So
I might have a couple of drinks and go and see it.
Yeah, I did see the trailer at the cinema and I was cringing in my chair, thinking, how is this a film?
Well, her films are like Made Manhattan is like universally slated, but that oddly has a a following. People like watch Made Manhattan.
I always remember Made Manhattan was released within a month of Red Dragon. And Ray Fiennes
is the lead in both of them.
And in one of them he was a romantic lead, and in the other one he was eating people.
He eats people.
I'm still to this day not sure which is which.
But you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Like people give rom-coms like a bit more leeway than kind of other genre films because they're trash. They're expected to be trashy. But like, is there anything like the majority?
No.
I am a rom-com defender. If a rom-com is good, I will be right behind it. I was really rooting for Crazy Rich Asians. Like what's the one? Set It Up that was on Netflix with
oh, that was good, yeah.
The thingy and the actors and the actresses
and
involved.
the people, and then that thing happened.
Like when they're good, I'm like About Time.
the timing is brilliant. Yeah.
Like when they're good, I'm like, yes, well done. But when they're bad, they're normally some of the worst.
You know that there's more cliches and more tropes and stuff like that, and you are used to stuff like that.
It's exactly like horror. When it's done well, everyone celebrates the absolute shit out of it. And when it's done bad, you're like, that's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
This is J lowest, is it? That's getting an X.
Right there, put that X down for that. Can I move seats? Can I swap with one of you guys?
Big tick.
Second act, J Lowest's new film. I'm sorry. Is out in
She loves herself for that one. Look at her, she's still going.
No, as we said last week, we've got
J Lowest.
would you?
How dare you?
Shush. We have some very cool prizes to give away. We will have those Lego box sets as well. And we have loads of entries to last week's High Clue. So here's just a reminder of last week's High Clue. We'll take a look at it now. And just to say, it's a little film riddle. It's in 3 lines, 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the middle, and 5 at the end. Last week's was Luther's Poisoned Bride.
This was very easy.
Pumpkin and Honey Bunny.
I was a dead person.
Case the restaurant. So you were dead and you still got it. Well, what do you think? What did everyone think it was?
Well, I agree with Paul. Initially, I did think it was Showgirls, but
well, loads of people got the correct answer on Instagram and on Twitter as well. So thanks for entering. So we're going to pick out a winner from everybody who entered the competition.
And I would, those Lego prizes, they are slick.
They
You're
are.
getting a good prize.
Omniplex tickets is to give away as well. Cool. So what is the answer? Fiction.
Yeah. I'm reluctant to answer because this is my first one to answer.
No, but so obviously the explanation for that one, if we take a look at it again, it's Luther's Poisoned Bride. So Luther is Ving Rhames from the Mission Impossible series. His Poisoned Bride is Uma Thurman. She plays the bride in Quentin Tarantino's
his bride
in Kill Bill, and she's also Poison Ivy. In one of the Batman films, hence the poisoned reference.
I was thinking the poison was heroin in her stomach.
It's layered. It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. Do you know what I mean? There's a few things. Then Pumpkin and Honey Bunny are the names of
Tim Roth.
In the restaurant, and then Case the restaurant because they're checking out the restaurant. They're about to rob the place, and also the suitcase is obviously one of the main the main MacGuffin.
I think the first time I heard that dialogue was the start of Scooby Snacks.
Yeah,
that was the first.
So yes, the answer for last week's one was Pulp Fiction. Nailed that line.
A lot of bleeps.
A lot of bleeps. But this week's competition High Clue is as follows. Here we go. Are you ready? So it's Cool Bruce at the beach. Breathless. Look, I'll put my head there. Breathless Anderton aims high.
Malahide there, would you?
That's 7.
Sally's bird is cooked. Oh yeah, we have to do that. Oh, we counted up.
You did. She did it. She was doing it as you were talking.
I've been Carol Vorderman. That's what I've been doing.
So Cool Bruce at the beach. Breathless Anderton aims high. Sally's bird is cooked. So as we said, we're not going to shout out the answer here. If we know it, any indications, any ideas, anything coming? We're thinking it's not Pulp Fiction. It's not Showgirls.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think I have the actor based on the middle line. I'm just trying to put the two of them together.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see what the crack is. But we're going to put that up online. It will be up on the Joe Instagram and up on the Big Reviewski Twitter page as well. So you can enter the competition there. Best of luck with that. That pretty much wraps us up for this week. Anything else? No? Good to have Rory here?
It's been, he was on board with some of our jokes, not on board with some others.
I love to see your checklist now of what was good, what was bad. It's like, I don't want to be here.
There's a graph of quality. It's not all great.
Do you think
some of them are great.
You didn't get a chance to use your prop?
Yeah. Whip it out there. Clint Eastwood.
It'll be seamless if they snap it and then you can just finish the show.
Oh,
I've set it up too easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't do.
I should be director.
Wait.
Rory, look down the camera.
Wait there. Before we finish, just look ahead to next week. We are going to be talking about one of the other Best Picture nominees, which of course is Green Book. Rory's full review. We're going to have that in the show. Viggo Mortensen.
Got opinions.
He's got opinions. And Mahershala Ali, who's in the new series of True Detective as well. So brilliant pair of actors. So we will be looking forward to that. Okay, do you want to take it away and say that's the end of the show, basically?
Did it?
I wonder, did it work?
I don't know
next
how
week.
technology works.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
That's a wrap.